we are witnessing the beginning of something implosive, explosive, and how Tinubu's regime manages this or quenches it, right, will determine more how progressing their state capture is doing. If you have read the caption of this broadcast, read the description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them that Mayegun today. The breaking news tonight is the nationwide broadcast of Tinubu on the River State's political crisis between Wirewike, the minister, and Fubara, the governor, which all started almost 2 years ago, just a few months after Fubara became the governor of River State. A disagreement snowballed into an attempt of removing him from office by his own political godfather, Wirewike. Now, getting the hint that he was to be impeached, Fubara also responded in the way by ensuring that the House of Assembly members loyal to Wirewike to carry out his removal were completely chased out of the official state assembly. Tinubu interceded, or should we say intervened, when he drafted some resolutions where, according to his own peace plan, the status quo must be maintained. 27 House of Assembly members that decamped to APC, who actually jumped before they could leap. Before they could look, they jumped, right? Said they will remain in APC. Meanwhile, after that, peace meeting in Abuja, Fubara's camp believed that was an insult on the governor for, the kind of like assault on his power as an executive governor. So he rejected the resolution. The court case, different court cases sprang up, right? And eventually, Wirewike, who is known to be a member of the bencher, the corrupt Nigeria judiciary, probably pulled his weight here and there, which led to a judgment that the River State House of Assembly, the River State government allocation or River State allocation, including their local government allocation, should be seized. Now, this wahala of withholding their allocation is what took them to the Supreme Court, among other cases that were still like a or before the appeal court. Supreme Court now ruled on a case that is totally, truly was not before it, giving credibility and, in fact, more power to this Wirewike loyal House of Assembly members. So then the rumor of the attempted impeachment of Fubara, which was supposed to have been carried out as far back as December 2023, can now proceed without any delay. Well, Fubara played a smart one a little bit, as much people have been like blaming and abusing him, being too weak and all that stuff. Supreme Court says Fubara has committed misconduct, like he's acted illegally by not presenting the state's budget to this Wirewike's loyal House of Assembly members. So after the judgment, he proceeded to the State House of Assembly to present, or their makeshift House of Assembly, to present this budget, but it was shut out to the full glare of the world. So the Wirewike side, they said Fubara was acting to the, kind of like playing to the gallery, acting for the camera, meaning if he wanted to meet with them, he knew, he knows how, or the official way of getting in touch with them. So for the second time, Fubara wrote to them and said, okay, you know what? Please let me know if this also date is suitable for you and I can present this budget. And at the same time, follow through other part of this Supreme Court judgment. Just right there and then, this House of Assembly, Martin Amawule, lawyer to Werewike, adjourned their sitting, signed down, which means until further notice, meaning they were not ready to entertain whatever it is Fubara is trying to act based on this, their Supreme Court judgments. Impeachment today, impeachment tomorrow. So this past week has been a very, problematic one for the people of Rivers State, or should I say traumatic one rather, because they didn't know what they were going to wake up to. Anyway, is Fubara going to be impeached, or is Tinubu going to declare a state of emergency? What exactly are they going to wake up to? They were not sure. Well, yesterday, another dreaded fear of the people in this issue, this political imbroglio, right, was that the Jaws, or some group came out who said they are Jaws, and they threatened that if Werewike should for any reason have the upper hand and remove Fubara, they will make Nigeria economically more crippled by blowing up oil installation, and they can no longer guarantee the safety of oil workers in the Niger Delta. So this threat somehow is taken with seriousness by Tinubu's group, because yesterday there was a reported explosion on one of the pipelines. It's called the Trans-Niger pipeline. I suspect that is one of the pipelines that sort of pump crude oil from Nigeria straight to the refinery in Niger Republic, one of the refineries that became famous, even expanded under Buhari when Buhari was your president. So this is an act of terrorism, you will say. But terrorism? Okay. So there must be some steps to have been taken to determine that, one, the governor of the state, who is actually elected by the people, just like the druggy Tinubu claimed to be elected by the people. So what kind of law allows you to say because an explosion happened in a state or two explosions happened in a state, automatically you are declaring a state of emergency because that's an act of terrorism? And they said there in their constitution, right, section 305 of your constitution gives the power to Tinubu to declare a state of emergency. But declaring a state of emergency, does that require you removing the elected governor or elected officials? Anyway, this morning, or let's say yesterday rather, before the explosion, the people of, supposedly the people of Rivers State, they staged a protest that where they actually shut down the east-west road from the Bayelsa side down to the river side, all blocked before the explosion. So right now, what many are now believing is that, this Ijaw that claimed that they will make Nigeria economically, crippled, further crippled. Maybe they have been activated. That is what some believe, is the security report sold to Tinubu or to Werewike, or win and win. As long as Fubara is never for one day enjoy the office of being a governor, it is okay. Others are suggesting that how many of you can put your money on it that the new guy nominated by the Tinubu was actually not nominated by Werewike? Whatever this is, the game has started. Because is it even legal for Tinubu to remove an elected governor, right? Based on political, political disagreement or something like that, right? When it is so obvious that the people who are waging what is pretty much like an economic war against the people of Rivers State are no other than Werewike and his gang. And we all know why. So if an explosion happened, is there a link to Fubara? in all of this. And what happened to what they call the immunity of, like there's so many questions you can even ask. Is this even legal? So tonight we are going to start from what happened yesterday, the explosions yesterday, the explosion today, and another explosion this evening as you are watching this broadcast. So let's start from that, and then the state of emergency declared by Tinubu. Watch this.
We can leave Fubara alone. We can leave Fubara alone. You have been here 8 years. Leave Fubara alone.
To decide on what to take in next. Eyes on. Yeah. We will not be afraid. We should go and ask people in Delta states, exactly people, and so have never lose battle. This is not, they said this is not an ethnic war. The thing is beyond that political crisis. After one Equere man, a German became governor, they want to impeach another German to another Equere man to be a governor. It has turned to ethnic war. Yes. Aizo! Yeah! Aizo! Yeah! Aizo! Yeah! Savannah! Savannah! Then you go ask or passenger.
Hello?
Man alone, nothing to you. Wow. Leave the man alone, husband. She said, now your cancer, the fighter, Amazing. It is that. What's happening? Leave your brother alone. You go to other areas. Winter is a madman. Don't trust nobody. Winter mama to talk. Allow your boy to chop. Allow your boy to chop. Allow your boy to chop. The man is good to go. 8 years, Fubara, 8 years.
Yes, sir.
8 years, Fubara, 8 years, Fubara. On a job de turn away. That's one of the found I will slam.
Here along the axis of kilometer 0, this morning on the Trans-Niger pipeline, we are seeing a shell ruptured pipeline as a result of sabotage. By looking at the gutter, you will know that it is sabotage. We are actually calling on relevant authorities to please, as a matter of emergency, because this fire is flaming so strong, very hot, and even me that is close to it, it is dangerous here.
Now, we do not know what or which of the intelligence reports that they gave to Tinubu that is not a compromised one. There are people saying these explosions that are now happening in the river states that they are actually orchestrated by Wike, there is no evidence. So, also, there is no evidence that these explosions are also being carried out by Fubara's men. But suddenly, we are having explosions, which only happened in the last 24 hours. And to me, if I happen to be your president, right? Ordinarily, it will take longer than just 24 hours to apportion blame and automatically act so irrationally that you have to declare a state of emergency and then you send the military down to Rivers State. Straight up. Because that's exactly what Tinubu just did. We've been hearing the rumors since last night. But just like many other rumors that later come back to be true, this is one of them. But at the same time, there are so many people who believe that it will never actually do that because it doesn't make any sense. We have had the Fulani terrorists kidnapping tens of thousands of Nigerians, you know, slaughtering even the military men at will. And we have not seen a state of emergency declared and the governors of those states are removed. So this is why some people are pretty much like the context is different. You are talking about Nigeria's oil output. They consider that like, you know, the establishment consider that like almost unforgivable offense. That's why they can declare war on those who they believe are sabotaging their source of crude oil and what have you, where their endemic corruption is pretty much established, right? So they will fight anyone if they feel like fighting them is more expensive than just settling them, like they did with amnesty for the Niger Deltans that time, right? It was cheaper to give them something from the crude oil than to continue to fight them. So they offered them carrots. So Tinubu and his gang reacting because of 2 explosions seems to make the crude oil more valuable than the lives of Nigerians who have been living under the control and the, of the Fulani terrorists, the terrorism of this terrorists in Nigeria. Crude oil is more valuable than your lives. So Tinubu
forward in their judgment, and having found and held that 27 members of the House who had allegedly deflected, and I quote, are still valid members of Rivers State House of Assembly and cannot be prevented from participating in proceedings of that house by the 8th respondent, that is the governor, in cohort with 4 members, and unquote. The Supreme Court then made some orders to restore the state to immediate constitutional democracy. These orders include the immediate passing of an appropriation bill by the Rivers State House of Assembly, which up to now has not been facilitated. Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemies of the governor, who has up to now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House and the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation